my darlings, welcome to a new vlog. If you hear any very weird sound effects in the background, it's another really windy day today. Sunny but windy, that's the weather forecast. And I don't know, I guess it must be the pipe on our 𝑭𝒂𝒕 that the wind just kind of howls down and it feels like you're in the eye of the storm here in our kitchen. So that's what's going on if you hear any peculiar background noise. Today I have every intention of getting my work done really quickly so that I can head over to the Burford Garden Company, which is the most dangerous place in the Cotswolds for me at this time of year, because we know how I do get carried away with seeds. But I actually want to try growing more flowers this year, and I want to really try to master poppies. Poppies I have grown before, but with mixed success. Last year I foraged quite a lot of, would you like to go outside? Always when mummy's chatting, isn't it? Come on then. Yes, so poppies are what's on my agenda, but I need to get cracking with various bits and bobs if I do want to go there, because I'm also meeting a friend at Estelle Manor later on this afternoon. So it's going to be a really lovely day. I've made myself for breakfast for the last couple of days a matcha chia pudding, and it's really tasty, and I want to quickly show you how I've been doing it because it has been so wonderful. And actually today I'm going to take it with me and maybe have it as an afternoon snack, which I know is a bit weird, but that's what we're going to do. So I do mine in these glass jars. Very handy. Got these on Amazon, and by the way, lots of you that are in the US were saying that sometimes my Amazon links don't work for you. So now what we've done is we've split our Amazon storefront into UK and US. So both of those are now in the description box down below, which hopefully is useful for you. So I mention that because these are from Amazon. I have got my big jar of chia seeds, and I'm going to put 4 tablespoons of chia seeds. Oh, I've done it wrong already, hang on. Gotta make your matcha first, Doris. Oh. Yeah, I'm not a pro at this yet. This is only my 5th time doing it, but I thought I would share it with you anyway. So I'm taking a spoonful of matcha. The matcha that I use for this is my 𝑑 matcha. This has also got lion's mane, tremella and reishi, so it is a mushroom super blend. So I'm taking a pretty, like, bigger than you would for a matcha latte. I would say that's around 2 teaspoons. And let's go and pop some hot water in here. My new water filter is an absolute game changer because I get instant hot water. Unlock. Before having this filter, it would have taken me 20 minutes to wait for my kettle to boil just so I can get this much hot water. And then I've got one of these very jazzy little handheld whisks. You could use the Matcha whisk, the little bamboo thing, but I find this just really quick and easy. Now I'm adding some of my favorite milk. In my coffee it's obviously oat milk, but in matcha I love almond milk, and this one is the Plenish organic. It's kind of annoying because it's only 3 ingredients and I know that I could make this so easily, but I don't. So a splash of almond milk, another little mix, and now is when I add in my 4 tablespoons of chia seeds. They're meant to be much better for you if you soak them. In fact, you're meant to soak them. I often stick them in a smoothie as they are. But if you've never done this before, you might be surprised. They basically they turn into like frog spawn, which sounds a bit gross, but they get this really unusual kind of jelly coating around them, which some people might find disgusting, but I find quite satisfying. So really unusual. So we've got my chia seeds floating in the matcha. Now, to give it that extra deliciousness, I love cinnamon. So I'm going to pop in a teaspoon of cinnamon. And just a dash of pure, proper maple syrup. And this is just going to add the most lovely sweetness to it. Just the tiniest little bit. Now I'm going to give it a good stir. And once the lid is very securely on, please make sure it's secure, I give it a good shake. Just so that we know that everything is super well mixed. Make sure there's not too many up on the sides. Now this is going to go in the fridge. Sometimes I do it overnight, but for now this is just going to be in the fridge for around 3 hours until I plan on leaving the house, and then I'm going to pop it in my handbag and it'll just be a really nice little afternoon treat. Okay, Matcha's in the fridge. I just went to change my camera battery. I keep a charger around the corner there, and I've been wanting to show you this for a few days because it's been looking amazing for the last 4 or 5 days. Now I think I'm actually going to come and trim some of the rather overzealous mascari, but this was the bowl of bulbs that we bought from Daylesford, and then we picked up the terracotta pot from Whichford Pottery. I see you sneaking through here, my little angel. But how incredible, just an explosion of mascari, and they're absolutely huge. I did, to begin with, try just like tucking these overexcited ones in behind others, but now they're just getting a bit big. So I think I'll trim them and pop them in little posy glasses. But how joyous to have this, just a little bit of greenery and life in the entrance hall. I always think this room needs flowers, needs something green, because otherwise it's very still, it's very solid with all the wood everywhere. So I like to always have something here, and something that's living and growing as opposed to flowers that have been cut to just last so much longer. So this has given us so much joy over the last week or so, and yeah, I'm definitely gonna see what other bulb collections they've got, and I think we can just stick these out in the garden now, these bulbs. They certainly won't go to waste. Okay, back in the kitchen. This I think is a very exciting order which I placed last week. Let's get some scissors. They're behind you. Oh, I don't need them. Now I literally just said that I wanted to go to Burford Garden. Oh, it's not my seeds. Ah, but the next one is. How funny. I thought this was my seed packet, but this is actually a stasher bag. I have got so many of these, but they are the most useful things in the entire world. I must bang on about these at least once a week, but I use them for everything, and I'm starting to get more into the habit of when I make something, I'm making a lot of it and freezing it so that it's just making my life easier. For example, the other day I bulk cut up my bread croutons for my soup, and I thought I need another stasher bag because at the moment my freezer is just full of them, with frozen avocado or frozen bananas or frozen breadcrumbs or frozen chopped onion or frozen chopped garlic. My freezer is just full of bags of different useful things. So ordered another one. Again, these are on my Amazon shop, and that's going to go in the dishwasher. Okay, but what I actually wanted to show you was this. I may have got a little more carried away than I remembered. Okay, this literally obliterates all need to go to Burford because I forgot that I actually ordered poppy seeds from She Grows Veg. So She Grows Veg is an account that I follow on Instagram, She Grows Veg, and I don't actually know the lady's name. Oh, her name isn't in her profile. Well, the lady, she also sells loads of seeds on her website. She did the most beautiful display at Chelsea Flower Show last year, and so I placed a substantial order of seeds. So I'll quickly show you what I got. Bread seed poppy in Hungarian blue. I love the fact that each of the seed packets actually comes with a QR code so you can scan to watch little tutorials. So I fully intend on doing that. This year I'm going to grow things in my garden, yes, that I love to eat, but also things that I know grow really well. This is a very traditional variety of pea, very popular in the Victorian times, and they're quite a sweet tasting pea. Not a sweet pea, they are toxic, but a sweet tasting pea, and they look absolutely great. Spinach does grow quite well in this garden. Something else I love to grow are varieties that you don't see in the shops. Like I can't go and buy, not where I shop anyway, I can't go and buy purple spinach. So purple to me is just a signal that it's full of goodness, full of nutrients. So can't wait to give that a try. Then we've got a type of broccoli kind of meets kale. Looks like a 𝑭𝒊𝒏𝒅 𝑴𝒆, but it is a type of broccoli. Broccoli traditionally hasn't done that well in my garden, but I'm hoping that this one will do because it's a different kind. I'm also going to protect my broccoli a lot better this year with maybe nets, maybe cages. I just don't want I don't know if it's pigeons or butterflies. Someone is eating my broccoli and it's not me, which I'm very annoyed about. Precolle di Toscana, a kind of 𝑭𝒊𝒏𝒅-esque kale. Dark green, massive leaves, which again to me, so good for you. I love putting this in the air fryer with a little bit of olive oil and salt. Had that on top of a curry last night and it was delicious. French beans, I love growing French beans and they grow very well in our garden. They're very plentiful. I love to freeze them afterwards, and I particularly like growing ones which aren't green because with beans, the more you pick the pods, more will grow. And if they're green, they're camouflaged and they're quite hard to see. Whereas with purple or yellow or even pink pods, it makes it much easier to see them. So I also got these, which are a dwarf bean, red swan, an heirloom variety with pink flowers before stringless pink beans up to 15 centimeters long, bursting with flavor. Enjoy a lovely long picking season. I cannot wait to have pink and purple French beans. I wish Freddie would grow things because I could put together such a nice like pink bundle of things that she could grow to eat, like all of her favorite veggies but in pink form. Also dragon's tongue dwarf beans. These have got a really cool color pattern on them. Again, an heirloom variety, which is also important because the older varieties, they've not been bred quite as much, and modern day seed breeding has been bred for speed of growth and size of the veggie, as opposed to for the flavour and the nutrient value. And normally the heritage or heirloom varieties, they're packed with so much more nutrients and they're so much more flavoursome than these modern seeds. Everything was just better back in the day, wasn't it? Modern stuff just ain't as good. Broad beans, I love broad beans. I've actually done my first sowing already. You might have seen that in the last vlog. The world's first autumn cropping bean, huh? Whoa! A second sowing in June to July for an autumnal crop. They've actually spelt autumn wrong here. Cool! I've never sown broad beans in June before. That's fun. Oh my gosh, are you still with me? I'll be quick. Collard greens, really good for you. I've actually not tried growing them before. Chicory, I've had mixed success with before, but I want to give it another go. Celery, I have actually never grown before, but I thought these looked really fun and I love eating celery, so can't wait to give that a go this year. I could talk for so much longer about each of these, but I'm going to whiz through so that I don't bore you to death. Pumpkins, I love growing. I thought that one looked really funky, as did this one, a really kind of traditional, old school, traditional pumpkin. A perennial style of onion, again it's purple, so it's hopefully going to be full of goodness. A slightly different kind of garden pea with a yellowy pod, and we love crazy varieties. A pak choy with a deep purple vein running through it. Pak choy traditionally does quite well in my garden. Nasturtiums grow very well, so well in fact that it... Need to pick up my nasturtium seeds. Dicky, don't eat them. Yes, they grow very well in my garden and all over my kitchen floor apparently, but I've never seen such fabulous colours, so I will do them both in the garden and also in plant pots in the greenhouse, because it's just one of the first things that really gets very vibrant in spring. And then semi-dwarf beans with fabulous red pods. Right, I need to pick up all of these nasturtium seeds. Okay, I've picked up all of my nasturtium seeds. Now, oh, I just spotted one more. They're everywhere. They're so tiny. Actually, compared to many other seeds, they're not that tiny. But the great thing about nasturtiums is once you grow them, they will produce so many more of their own seeds. So basically, from this one purchase, I've got nasturtiums for life, and you can eat the flowers and the leaves, which is fun. Right, we didn't think that I'd already moved on from my obsession from last week of sprouting seeds. No, the obsession continues to grow. Thank you, by the way, for your love on the reel that I shared and on the blog post. The blog post has got the breakdown of basically exactly how you do it and everything that you need. It's so easy. So I've gone ahead and bought this, which is a sprouting mix. And we've got in here mung beans, green lentils, brown lentils, chickpeas, aduki beans, and peas. So I've never done a mix quite like this before, but I'm going to try sprouting them in the exact same way as I did my trusty broccoli sprouts, and hopefully within a few days in the next vlog we'll be able to see if we get, or what kind of different variety this kind of pack will yield. So step one we will do again together in my seed jar. I'm popping a few of the seeds in here. And now for the overnight soak, it's really important that you use filtered water. So that's what I'm going to do instead of water straight from the tap. And you only need about 1/3 of the cup. 1/3 of the jar. There we go. Pop the lid on, obviously remembering that this lid is not a solid lid. It's got a sieve on the lid for my next step draining. But there we go. Any I think that float are not such good ones. Obviously here none of them are floating, so they're going to soak up some of this lovely filtered water overnight, and then I'll start my draining process. And this is my little station in the house. So these are the broccoli seeds, which are about 4 days old now. So you can see that these are ready to be eaten now. I'll pop some on my soup at lunchtime. So full of goodness and so easy to make at home. I haven't properly yet shown you my new water filter either. You probably will have seen me using this in the last few vlogs. I have upgraded our water filter here in the house to this one, which is from Waterdrop. Waterdrop is the brand of water filter that we've been using ever since I started using water filters, which I think we're reading and learning more and more about what's in the tap water, whether it's microplastics or forever chemicals or even weird things like hormones. I choose to filter my water, and this is the best device for our personal use here in the house. Our previous water filter, which Lila is now the proud custodian of, was also by Waterdrop, but this is the A2WD or WD-A2. It's their new one, which has reverse osmosis in it, which is such an effective way of filtering your water. It's actually got a 5-layer filtration system, so it's very, very thorough at filtering your water. The filter only needs changing once a year, which is a dream because I wouldn't remember to do that kind of thing. So because I installed this in January, changing the filter is going to be a January job. The filter itself is just in here. I should probably turn it off while I do this. This is the filter, reverse osmosis membrane, and it's just ridiculously easy. You slot it in, oop, pop it down, pop the lid on, and jobs are good. Waterdrop do have a variety of filters, some of which are under the sink, but we've got an old house with weird plumbing, so an over-the-counter version for us is amazing. It's got a big tank here at the back, which I manually top up, which is easy peasy. And then what I love about this one is the pitcher, because I am a very impatient person. That noise is the filtration and flushing process. It'll turn off in a second. I'm a very impatient person, and I personally like to be able to have instant access to my water, so the fact that I get a pitcher full of perfectly room temperature water, which is personally the temperature that I like to enjoy my water at, it's just as easy as that to come down and get filtered water. But if you are a chilled water kind of person, you can see the amount of water that I've just drunk, and now it's going to go ahead and fill up. If you want chilled water, you can click cold, 15 degrees, you can choose your volume. I think these cups are 350 ml, so I could press that and leave it filtering away, or instead of waiting for the kettle to boil, I can just click hot, or maybe I want it to be like 85 degrees, which is the perfect temperature for matcha. Take the child lock off, and then it's as easy as that to get hot water. And it just tastes better, so I have been very much enjoying using this filter. Randomly, or maybe not so random, prior to this water filter, Lala's one, was actually one of the things that you guys bought the most of from my links last year, so I'm glad that you guys are as passionate about water filtering as I am. And for this exact model, I will leave it linked in the description box down below, along with the discount code that 𝑭𝒊𝒏𝒅 very kindly shared with us. So cheers to lovely, great tasting filtered water. I've just gone and done loads of Instagram stories about sprouting seeds. I love sharing this passion, and hopefully lots of you guys are trying it too. I don't see why you wouldn't. It's so easy, it's so affordable, and it's so nutritious. And even for children, just like whack it in a lasagna or stick it on top of their dishes. Epic. I love them. Anyway, 2 more boxes I have to unbox with you. I had 4 exciting deliveries this morning. We've had the seeds, we've had my stasher bag. I've got something here from Ancient and Brave, which I think, oh, True Collagen Peptides, here we go. And new 𝑭𝒊𝒏𝒅 soft gels. I've been adding collagen into my morning coffee every morning. Thank you very much for the top up, Ancient and Brave. I also need to top up my reishi and cacao because I put the last of it in my morning smoothie this morning. It's delicious, and again, super good for you. It turns all of your smoothies into basically a chocolate milkshake. Love it. And I've saved the best till last. Have I? Or were my seeds the best? I'll let you guys be the judge of that. When I heard about this collaboration, I thought, this is the most me collaboration in the entire world. Barbour have collaborated with Erdem. Erdem dresses I have treated myself to a fair few over the last few years. They are the ones I would say that I get the most wear out of in summer. I'll pop a few photos of some of my favourites on the screen here. I think Chelsea Flower Show, it's just so many. I cannot wait to wear them again. In fact, the trip that I've got the week after next, I think I need to get out a few of my Erdem dresses to take with me. Anyway, they've collaborated with Barbour. Oh my gosh, and you'll know that I wear my Barbour jacket every day of my life, especially since moving to the Cotswolds. My Barbour jacket is 30 years old, at least, no, older, 34 years old. It's older than I am. It's actually my mum's. I stole it. Sorry, Lila. Maybe I should treat her to a Barbour Erdem. We'll see what she thinks of this one. Yeah, it's just the most versatile thing. If you live in the countryside, you'll know how versatile Barbour jackets are. They've gone a little bit edgy with their marketing lately, like trying to appeal to city folk, which I have no problem with. I don't discriminate, but they're a countryside brand at their core. And as soon as I saw this collaboration, I got very excited and I placed an order in around 14 seconds. So here we go. The style that I went for is called oh how lovely, the Barbour Bow Flower Wax Archive. I really hope this is as glorious as it looked on the website. I didn't want to go too far away from the classic Barbour style because I must confess I also purchased the Barbour Chloe collaboration and I still got it, but I have really not worn it. It's got a peplum on it and I think the shape of it with the peplum, I'll show it to you in a second just as a way of comparison. I just haven't worn it anywhere, and I won't wear this anywhere near as much as my 30-year-old Barbour, but I could not resist. So you can see straight away, oh my gosh, I love the weightiness to it. This feels like, it looks like not a very me piece, but They honestly, they're windproof, they're rainproof, they're doggy, muddy, paw-proof. I love the fact that you get this subtle floral print on the waxy bodice. You've got this little logo here, Barbour Erdem. Just gonna pop you there so that I can try it on with a little bit more space. You've got the corduroy collar. Looks like we've got a really nice lining. I have to say it feels very thick and substantial, which is what we want. Nice chunky zip. The zip on my 34-year-old one is completely kaput. Oh, that is nice. Look at the lining. Oh, you've got the traditional Barbour tartan with florals. Oh my gosh. Obviously, I'll leave this collection link down below if it's not all already sold out, which it may well be. I don't know. I like the fact that it's a classic silhouette. I like this a lot. So you get the subtle floral detail up here in the traditional Barbour green. Got the little press studs there, so if you want, I don't normally, but if you want to make the sleeves a little bit more slim fitting. And then, sorry my baby. And then down at the bottom, it goes into the lighter colour. You've got florals on this side, plain on this side. Fabulous lining. Oh my gosh, the lining is probably my favourite bit. Oh, that's so nice. The pockets are nice, big, deep pockets. Ooh, how cute. Little Barbour badge in the pocket. Yes, I'm really glad I went for this one, which has got the traditional silhouette, as opposed to the ones with the peplums, because they were just a little bit too fashiony. I think if you live in London, yeah, I think they are mostly just suitable for city living, but if you want something really practical for the countryside, and yet you want to just, you know, this to me is a nod to my old life, a nod to when I used to work in the fashion industry. I used to work at Mulberry. If any of you guys don't know that, that was my second to last job before creating content full-time. I was in the marketing team at Mulberry. I went to London College of Fashion. My whole world was fashion before moving to the Cotswolds, and so things like this are a nice little kind of nod. It's the collision of my two worlds, so I love it. I'm really, really happy with this. Do you want to go outside again? Yeah? You want to go outside? Tell me. Tell me what you want. Is there somebody in Dickie's garden that needs barking at? Is there somebody in Dixie's garden? As always, somebody. I need you to let me know your crazy dog songs down below. Is there somebody that needs barking at in Dixie's garden? Come on then, Eileen. Come on then. Oh, it's so windy. We don't mind. Are you coming, Mummy? No, I'm not, baby. So what do you guys think? I'm quite in love with this, and I'm gonna try to reach for this over my ancient one. Shall I show you the ancient one? Sorry, just quickly, I just noticed this. How nice is that? I love it. What a great collaboration. And this here is my OG, my original. It's completely battered. The zip is falling apart, but my goodness, it's just got the best smell to it. I aspire for my Erdem Barbour to have the longevity that this one has. Like I was saying, where they just made things better in the olden days. You can see, because it's so well worn, it just has almost molded to my body, and this will always be my favorite Barbour, because it's literally kind of, it's like a glove. It's just so classic. There's always a variety of things in the pockets. No poo bags today. A stirrup and a hair clip. It's just wonderful. It's so easy to throw on. It's great for gardening, and the more you use them, the kind of softer the waxiness gets. This was called the 𝑭𝒂𝒕. This is the 𝑭𝒂𝒕, but the 𝑭𝒂𝒕 has changed over the last 3 decades, so you can't get this exact one anymore, I don't believe. Yeah, I absolutely adore it. And just to round things off, I'll quickly show you the Chloe one that I bought a couple of years ago as well. Okay, this is the Chloe Barbour. Chloe, lovely. More of a traditional check on the inside, and you can see, hey Dexy, come on in my baby. Come on in my baby. You can see it's got the big ruffle detail at the top, which gives it more of a fashion silhouette. And to be honest, it's that made me lean towards the more simple silhouette of the Erdem one that I chose. I just sometimes feel that the world of fashion should infiltrate countryside style pieces, but not too much. And this top ruffle, I feel a little bit like a Komodo dragon. And honestly, that's why I've probably not got the wear out of it. But I had the same thing as soon as I saw this collaboration go live. I was like, oh my gosh, it's Chloe, it's one of my favorite designer brands. And oh my gosh, it's Barbour that I wear every day. So I felt obliged, but I probably should have returned it, because the silhouette, I mean, it's just not, it's not as practical as a straight up and down silhouette. I'm gonna keep it for prosperity, but yeah, it's just kind of lives in the cupboard, and I don't think I've actually worn it out the house, which is shocking because I think I paid a crazy amount of money for it. But there we go. What do you think of the new Erdem? I am confident that I'll get a lot of wear out of it. The silhouette is practical, the fabric is practical, and it's got flowers on it, which is just lovely. So there we go. Right, I'm gonna get cracking with a little bit of work and then make myself a nice soup before we head out on our daily adventures. So my darlings, it's a few hours later. Unfortunately, I did not have time to make it to Burford Garden Company, so we'll save that for another day. Maybe it's a good thing considering my seed order earlier. But I've had a quick change of outfit. I popped on the little Ralph Lauren matching knitted top and cardi combo with Holland Cooper jeans and Holland Cooper boots for a really nice relaxed dinner with a friend here at Estelle. So I think the only restaurant that's actually open on Tuesday evenings is the Brasserie, which is fine because I'm craving some really nice hearty food. So I'm going to find a nice little spot by the fireplace, catch up on a few emails until Lizzie gets here, and then we're going to have a lovely girly evening. Good morning, my darlings. It is now Wednesday morning. I'm quite breathless this morning. I did a personal training session with Lauren, and I wouldn't say we took it really hard, but maybe just heavier weights than usual, and it's really puffed me out. Interestingly, the video for me that's the most recent one to have gone live was the H&M try-on one, and within that video I was mentioning about how I felt that their sizing was a bit funny, that I didn't feel like I was much bigger, but everything was really tight. And someone left a comment which really got me thinking that maybe with the training that I've been doing, it's actually kind of increased the size of my rib cage and back muscle, which sounds strange, but kind of makes sense. You can hear my voice, how puffed out I am. But anyway, we've got a lovely day again today, lovely sunshine, a little bit of a frost this morning, which is lovely because we have got Jake here, so we're shooting some home content and also some gardening content. We're going to do our first gardening jobs of the month video now that we are approaching the middle of February. It's when things start to amp up a little bit. But first of all, I'm going to take some photos for a bone broth recipe blog post. So I've just popped this outfit on for the photos. It is the dress that I showed you in the Ralph Lauren unboxing. Absolutely in love with this, and I can tell it's going to be one of my most worn pieces. It's got the green knitted top. It's kind of like a sweater on top. I've added my little Hermes waist belt. Any little brown belt would do. And then the fabric changes to a slightly more structured fabric for the skirt. You won't see my feet in the photos, so I've popped my clog Uggs on. And then jewellery, these hoop earrings are from Missima, and then Monica Vinader bracelets. So that's the outfit of the day. The boys are just capturing some shots outside, and then it's my turn to shoot. I've actually treated myself to an at-home Hydrafacial this evening as a little post-shoot day treat because they had an introductory offer on the Lucy app, and it's going to be a Hydrafacial with a back massage. Two of my favourite things, so I can't wait. Daddy, I'll have another one, thank you.
That one didn't even touch the sides. They had quite a few trees there.
Okay, outfit change, and we are heading to the greenhouse to film the first gardening jobs, monthly gardening jobs of the year. I love these videos. Sometimes they absolutely tank on Instagram because I realise not everyone is obsessed with gardening as I am, but sometimes they do really well. And I figure if they help a few of you guys, then it's worth it. So, into the greenhouse. Okay, that was pretty tough work, but I've just added a layer of new compost on top of the raised beds, or one of the raised beds, for our gardening jobs for February video. I feel quite exhausted, that was quite a workout. And now I'm just setting up for the next video that we're going to film, which is all about sowing your sweet peas. Now is the ideal time of year to sow your sweet peas, and I get mine from a website called Roger, it's RP Sweet Peas, and Roger Parsons is a very sweet gentleman who is quite a famous sweet pea grower, and he sells on his sweet pea seeds, and I've always found them to be amazing. So I've got a few new ones to try this year. In the reel I'm going to do 3 ways to start growing your sweet peas. One is starting them off in a jar, one is starting them off straight in soil, and one is starting them off in kitchen roll tubes, because sweet peas, they don't really like their roots to be disturbed once they've been sown. So hopefully you might watch the reel and give one of these ways a try, and I'll also be really interested to see which of these ways turns out to be the most successful. Okay, just finished shooting with Jake. We got so much done. No branded stuff, just lots of nice organic content for my Instagram and for the home Instagram, and content for the blog, keeping it very seasonal. Lots of gardening things and healthy eating things, so I can't wait for you to see all that content. Now I believe the gates are opening. Yes, we've got my lovely lady from the Lucy app. I've not met this lady before, but she's doing like an introductory offer of Hydrafacial with back massage, which is perfect timing after a shoot day, and I always like to just start to take my makeup off with a face halo before appointments. Here she is. So I'm going to do that now because then she can spend more time doing the pampering and less time taking off my makeup. So let's see how it goes and I'll report back afterwards. Okay, my darlings, it's an hour and a bit later. That was heavenly. Such an amazing idea to combine a massage with a hydrofacial, because hydrofacials can be very practical, but that was quite unlike hydrofacials that I've had in London before. She used the little vibrating thing that kind of, you glide it along the skin and the vibrations almost push all the gunk out of your pores. She used cryo because she was saying how hydrofacials can be quite irritating on your skin, especially with the peel, and then the cryo just helps to bring down any inflammation, which helps with the absorption, helps with collagen in the skin. And she used Medik8 products, which are really, really fantastic. And that was apparently just the short version of the treatment, 60 minutes, with half-hour back massage, half-hour hydrofacial. Ooh, got something on. I think that's chocolate or coffee. There's apparently a longer version where she also does the radio frequency and also more intense hyaluronic acid treatments. So I definitely want to try that next time, but that was absolutely gorgeous, and I don't need to do anything to my skin now before bed. I like getting treatments at home because then I don't have to commute home from London with fresh glowing skin. I can just roll straight into bed. So we're cooking a nice dal for dinner this evening. I might do some chapatis. if Charlie allows it to. He's trying to be very healthy, so we'll see. I'll see if I can persuade him. It's unlikely. I'd say there's a 5% chance that I will do chapatis. But I'm gonna have a quick whiz around the house, make sure it's all tidy after our shoot day. I've got a bulging inbox, so I need to sort that out. And I know that I'm not gonna want to do it tomorrow because it's sunny. So I'm going to want to be shooting my own stuff all day. So I might do... No, do you know what? I'm not going to. I'm not gonna do work in the evening because that's just not good. I need to not get in the habit of doing things like that. I will take some time, maybe take my laptop outside if it's sunny, maybe even take it into the greenhouse. Now there's an idea. Emails in the greenhouse on the agenda tomorrow. But anyway, I'm going to go and do a little tidy up. So let's get cracking. Good morning, my darlings. Looking a little bit less glamorous than yesterday, but it's a very grey morning this morning. It's one of those days where it kind of zaps your energy levels because it's grey and like damp in the air. We were actually teased with snow on the forecast last night, so there was like 5% of me that was hoping... Yes, I agree. I totally agree, baby. 5% of me was expecting... It's a pigeon. Do you want to go and tell him? Come on then. I would just like all of the Cotswold pigeons to know that it's my garden and you must ask my permission before you land in my garden. He's very protective. What was I saying? Yeah, I was kind of hoping to wake up to a little sprinkling of snow, but alas, we have grey, misty mugginess instead. Not muggy, foggy. Anyway, so obviously last week I organised the pantry cupboard and I just want to do a little bit more organising. Oh, hello. Yeah, I'll be in 15 minutes. So I'm going to do a little bit of a restock this morning, hopefully no more distractions, and I thought we could do it together. First thing is really easy. I have, very easy, I have completed another month of the Seed Daily Synbiotic. These are the pro and prebiotics that I take. Pre and probiotics are amazing for your gut. Something like a Simprove is a pre or probiotic. I prefer to take, I'm not slating Simprove, but I prefer to take them in tablet form. I think it reaches your gut better. And these ones are double wall lined. The actual tablets are like double lined. So basically the good bacteria within them actually makes its way down to your gut before getting absorbed, because so many other kind of pre and probiotics, they don't actually even make it down to your gut because they get absorbed by your everywhere else in the meantime. So the refills come in these little sachets. This is not an ad. I am a customer and I really like Seed. I think it's a great brand. So you get the refills and then you just pour it into your little bars. Take out the silicone sachet. These little silicone sachets are really useful for putting in with your seeds, not your seeds as in your seed probiotic, but your seeds as in your seeds in the greenhouse. So I'll actually keep that one there. Okay, that's gonna go back in the cupboard. Next random little job, this was actually inspired by Laura Burns. I was watching one of her vlogs and she said she got a new matcha and it was a bit lumpy, so she sieved it and put it in another pot. This is actually not that lumpy, but I think it would be even better if I sieved it, and also instead of me having to get a teaspoon out every single time, I thought what I would do is just pop it in one of these little containers. I'll have to ask Charlie where he gets these from because they are the most useful little containers for your pantry. It's basically a glass container with a wooden suction lid, and then you get a little spoon and that spoon kind of sits on the side there. So for matcha, this is the perfect size spoon for me to take a scoop, tap off the excess, and then pop it back. I just thought that would make my life so much easier. So I'm just going to make sure this is extremely not damp because I've just given it a little wash out. I think I've actually got a few like half open and half used matcha tins lying around as well, so I'm just going to scurry around the house or around the kitchen and get all of my matcha together. So I'm just going to use my coconut oil to prop that up there. Okay, freshly sieved matcha, living down here. Okay, the next thing I'm going to do is make my week's worth of granola. Charlie and I absolutely love this homemade granola. It's a recipe that I've been doing Every week since probably the middle of November, I initially called it my festive granola because it had cinnamon and nice warm kind of spices in it. I've now decided I love it all year round. So first thing I need to do is prepare the wet ingredients. I was going to do this as a YouTube short, but the lighting is just not nice enough. And I know I've shown you guys before, so I'll just whiz through it really quickly. You do need your coconut oil to be melted. So I'm just going to take a good tablespoon, like a really good tablespoon, and I'm just going to pop this on the agar while I get the dry ingredients together, and that will melt down. If you haven't got an agar, you can pop it on a radiator, warm windowsill, or even in a very low oven just for 5 minutes or so for this to melt down. And now in my big bowl, I'm going to mix together the dry ingredients. It's not a fine art, you can literally throw in whatever you love. I like my granola to be full of seeds, and the more variety the better. So this is actually an omega mix from Buy Whole Foods online. So I'm adding in probably 1.5 cups of seed mix. This is my homemade seed mix. I think I showed you this last week in the vlogs, and there should also be a YouTube short of this as well if you want to save that for quickly coming to the recipe in the future. As I said, not a fine art, but I would say around 2 cups or 3 handfuls of oats. These are organic oats. I have got pumpkin seeds in my seed mix, but I love them so much I'm adding another spoonful of those. I absolutely love hazelnuts, and they're quite tiny, so I don't need to chop these. So again, about, I don't know, a good handful of hazelnuts. Now this is something new. I've never added tiger nuts before, but I ordered these in my last Buy Whole Foods online order, and I thought I would add them in. And now the other nuts that I'm going to be adding, they're just a little bit bigger, so I'm actually going to chop them up. Not too much, just so they're a tiny bit smaller. So I've got a couple of handfuls of almonds, couple handfuls of pecan nuts, walnuts, and finally Brazil nuts, and these are the ones which are the biggest, so are the most in need of chopping. I would usually like to add in some chopped macadamia nuts as well, but I seem to have run out of those. And then the last couple of dry ingredients, I'm adding in a tablespoon of, this is actually the first time I've done this, but I saw something online. I thought, why not? A tablespoon of my protein powder from Wild Nutrition, 2 teaspoons of salt, and why not? I'm just going to add in about a tablespoon's worth of my Wild Nutrition collagen. Just add it to everything. And then just give all of your dry ingredients a stir. Okay, everything is nicely combined. I'm just going to turn my oven on to 160 degrees. My coconut oil now looks like this. It's mostly melted. I'm going to add in all that's left of this little jar of maple syrup. I've got a new one on my shopping list. Now, I like my granola to be just as nutty as possible, so I'm adding in some peanut butter. This will also help to just bind it all together. And by the way, there's loads of substitutes you can do at this stage. So you can use honey, you can use olive oil, basically whatever you like and whatever you've got in the kitchen. I'm adding in, this is totally optional, a tablespoon of tahini. And I realized I've got this open in the fridge and it just needs eating. Raw macadamia nut butter. Well, do you know what? That's not been opened yet actually, so I'm going to leave that one. So I'm just going to mix together all of my wet ingredients. And now just before I add the wet to the dry, I almost forgot my main flavor ingredient, which is cinnamon. And I love cinnamon, it adds such a nice flavor. So I'm adding 2 or 3 teaspoons to my dry mixture, making sure that's really well stirred in. So the dry ingredients look like this, the wet ingredients look like this, and I'm just now going to mix it all together. I could quite literally eat this raw, but it tastes even better if it's baked slightly. So this is what it's looking like. I love the amount of seeds that I added in. It looked like a lot at the start, but I think this is just going to be really wonderful how all the seeds stick to the nuts. As I said, really not a fine art, just add in what you've got, play around depending on your preferences, and it's just always so delicious. So now I'm going to pop this on a baking tray, and I'm going to put it in the oven for 15 minutes, give it a stir, maybe then reduce the temperature of the oven, and then pop it in for another 15 minutes or so. I've just brought it here into the daylight so you can see the seed to nut ratio. It's very seedy, but that's how we love it. Okay, granola is in the oven. I actually reduced it to 145. I always think it's better to go low and slow rather than too hot. So 145, and I'm going to give it a stir after 20 minutes. Final quick little job I need to do before getting in the gym. I'm going to do a quick 20-minute Peloton, I think, because we're going to be in the garden for the rest of the day, even though it's grey and miserable, but alas. These are my lovely Smith and Munson flowers, and we've got the tulips again. Their top tip is when you receive them to snip the bottoms of your tulips. I take my string off, but leave the paper packaging on for a couple of hours while they're in water. This helps them to stay more upright instead of flopping over. So these have been in the water with stems trimmed probably since 6 o'clock this morning. It's now 11, so they've had plenty of time. I would really recommend getting a flower delivery from these guys. The flowers are such lovely quality, and they come every couple of weeks. They last really, really well. They're absolutely beautiful blooms. Oh my gosh. And they just have the most beautiful variety of tulips. I think there might be a subscription where you can choose them. I just get random tulip deliveries each fortnight. Oh my gosh, these tulips look like roses. Aren't they stunning? Absolutely divine. Like, just such gorgeous varieties. It's a family business. They're based in the UK, grown up in Lincolnshire. I think it's a really nice one to support, and I'm always so happy with the blooms. I think it brings such joy into the kitchen. So yeah, I'll leave them for a little bit. They will start to relax, and I might take off a few more leaves, but I'm just going to leave them like this for actually I'm going to take away a few leaves. A few too many here. And tulips, they're one of the only flowers that when you put them in water, they actually continue to grow. Lots of flowers continue to open, but tulips actually continue to grow in height. So you do want to trim their stems every couple of days and maybe freshen up the water at that time as well. Beautiful. If anyone from outside the UK ever wondered what a typical grey February morning in the UK looked like, this is it. The rain is like mist in the air, so it's not proper dramatic rain, but everything is wet. And yet I really want to be out in the garden, so I think I'm going to do a little bit of seed sowing in the greenhouse. Okay, so here's my little station in the safety and dryness of the greenhouse, and I have put together this little trug of seeds that I'm going to sow today. Most excitingly, because I've never done it before, is celery, and you can start sowing celery between January and March. So we're approaching the middle of February. I feel like January was glacial, and now February's going to go by in a flash, as will the rest of 2025, I'm sure. And with the 𝑭𝒊𝒏𝒅 seeds, it's my first time buying from 𝑭𝒊𝒏𝒅, you have these little QR codes, and there are YouTube tutorials on how to do them. So while I slurp on my coffee, I'm going to watch her tutorial on how to grow celery.
I think sometimes these two crops get a bit of a bad rap for being a bit boring, but actually celery, far from being the standard green crop that we're used to seeing in supermarkets, can come in all sorts of colours, including everything from bright pink to red.
Okay, I have finished the celery and I've taken that into the house. Next thing I'm going to do is broad beans. I did a few a couple of days ago and I'm going to do a few more. These are newer seeds from 𝑭𝒂𝒂𝒏𝒂𝒂, so hopefully these will do really well this year. It says February to April, and I'm going to do them in these little silicone module trays. Really easy to grow. They do actually develop really long roots. So like I showed you, I think it was in the last vlog, something you can do as a bit of a DIY is use either kitchen roll tubes, or I had these as part of some nail varnish packaging, and they're really long so the roots will go down. But if you don't have anything like that, they also don't mind module trays, so that's how I'm going to do just 6 in these ones, and it's always a bit of an experiment to see which methods work best. Okay, broad beans are sown and labelled. Now, they don't mind cold temperatures, so they can stay in here for a little while, giving them a nice watering. And now something else I really want to do today, I'll just quickly show you. So these are just one set of the sweet peas that I grew, that I filmed with Jake yesterday, again in the kitchen roll tubes, which are perfect. And then where did I put the other set? Oh, I've just hidden things all around the greenhouse. Where are they? Oh, here we go. Yeah, just in the corner here. This time of year is very dormant in the greenhouse. We've got the new set of Mascari bulbs that I picked up from 𝑑𝒉𝒆 the other day, and I'll take those into the house maybe at the weekend. But something else I need to do today is to sort out my snowdrop bulbs. So these are the ones that I've had in the house for decoration, and as you can see they are finishing flowering now, whereas the ones in the greenhouse, because it's so much colder in here, they have actually yet to flower, like these little ones here. They're going to be so lovely. Because it's colder in here, they're much slower. So this has been in the house. This was actually a narcissus, and these ones are finished. Now that they are finished flowering but still in the green, it's a really good time of year to put them in the garden, and these bulbs will come back next year. They might even divide and multiply, and even the little irises, and if you've got any crocuses that have finished flowering that you had in the house, then when they finish flowering you can get those outside as well. So seeing as the ground is quite damp, it's probably quite a good time to do this, and if I do it every weekend or every few days as and when they start to finish, then it's not going to be too big a task. This moss I'm going to keep and transfer it onto, where can I put it? Who needs moss? I just think things look nicer if they've got moss around the edge. Like this looks so much nicer with the little bulbs starting to come through instead of having compost on show. So my darlings, to finish the vlog, I didn't end up chatting to you anymore, so I thought I would do a little voiceover. After finishing planting all of my bulbs in the house, it was inside to make a delicious super green pasta dinner. I added 𝑭𝒊𝒏𝒅 𝙄𝙢, some frozen peas, some spinach, basically anything green in the fridge to a saucepan. Cooked that down and then added to a blender with garlic, some of my sprouts, some nuts which I'd soaked for a little bit, as well as plenty of cheese and seasoning, olive oil and some pasta water. Blended that all up and then added in my spelt pasta for dinner, and it was absolutely delicious, plus an extra handful of cheese. Thank you so much for watching the vlog, and I'll see you in the next one.